there's all these threes in the book, and of course it's part of a trilogy, but it is also itself a trilogy in a way. Well, talk about the idea of threes and things coming in threes.
Yeah, I don't know if it is an idea actually. Well, it might be, but it's sort of so many ideas and so intrinsic to trilogies and trinities and patternings, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, etc. But I guess everybody who writes long projects is overshadowed by long projects, and in the case of this one, Dante is the long project which sort of overhangs it because of the idea of the Inferno, Purgatory and Paradise as a sort of pattern, and people are constantly revisiting the pattern and trying to redo it in their own way and so on. And also it's a kind of dialectic approach, thesis, antithesis, synthesis. So the synthesis is slightly artificial, since it's kind of trying to resolve things which can't be resolved, but it's supposed to be the new thesis from which you then branch out to your next dialectic step. So I don't know how intrinsic that is to him thinking and how much it's just a construct of dialectic, Hegel and so on, but
you're relating it here to sort of rebirth and this idea as well.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, moving through these lives of disorder in order to move on to the next stage, kind of thing.
The first story is Eva Ave, and the central character or narrator is an android type female called Eva Android. And what does Ave mean? Is it hail or?
Yeah, hail or hello, something. It's an old, those palindromes. Those words saying backwards and forwards. Yeah. It's a very well-known one in Christian thinking. Ave, Eva, hello Eve, basically, because Eve was the origin of all things, and kind of the Christian revelation restarts the clock, from the sin of Eve and so on. So it has a lot of significances in Christian theology, but I just thought it sounded kind of catchy.
She's a kind of servant. She becomes a servant of a writer who's blinded at the beginning of the story.
I have to say that a lot of the bits about the writer I actually took from Althusser, the French philosopher. A friend of mine lent me his autobiography, which is the zaniest piece of lunacy I've ever read, which is basically written... Well, he wrote a first version of it, and then he had this incident where he strangled his wife, and then he wrote a second version of it afterwards, and the second version is very much special pleading and explanation of how he got to this stage. And so the central incident where the character is trying to strangle the robot and thus enact the moment where he actually strangled his own wife is, I guess, motivated by having read the very weird rhetorical strategies Althusser takes to kind of tap dance around the whole subject of how exactly it is he ended up in this room with his hands around his wife's neck, not knowing whether or not he'd strangled her or why she was dead, or